Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're live again, and it's the usual thing we do all the time. Well, when I say all the time, I mean quite a lot of weekends. Most weekends we come to discuss on this program as usual. To look at we look at things happen development and the polity, so to say. And Of course, in Nigeria, it would appear that in recent times, none of us would actually even have had the opportunity to actually take a breath in, because once you've had the chance to once you've had the chance to blink, before you blink and have to do another blink, something has happened again in Nigeria. So it does appear that Nigeria is not the way we're used to seeing it. Things are happening so fast right now. The developments here and there, and I mean. We're here tonight again to actually look at some of these developments, and so and it's a wonderful time. Um, I think it's a wonderful time to be called a Nigerian. Let's get it right. I would say that. I'd say it's a wonderful time to be called a Nigerian because it does appear something is happening in the polity. And of course, in the last few weeks, we've had the sudden removal of and detention, of course, of the we wouldn't call him erstwhile because he's still the substantive governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, and of course a few days back as well, we had the removal as well, and in the same vein, invitation and detention of we wouldn't call him erstwhile as well because he's still the substantive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Abdurrashid Bawa. And it would appear, and of course, we did hear, was it Thursday or thereabout, that certain an assistant director and some other staffers were actually suspended in the office of the Attorney General, Accountant General of the Federation because of tampering, padding the IPs system, the IPs that we thought would actually eliminate ghost workers and create a central repository, and make it easier for payments to the government in and out of government coffers. And so it's so fast moving that people have even, just for laughs, that when you're leaving the office on a Friday, just clear, not even on a Friday, every day you're leaving the office, just clear your desk because by the time you come back, you might have been suspended. So it's just good practice now. Clear your desk when you're leaving your office on a daily basis. But tonight we're going to be concerning ourselves mainly with the full subsidy removal regime of the federal government, and of course, it's something that's been talked about in quite a lot of details for quite a long time. But eventually, we're getting it. We've gotten it done, so to say. And we're going to be looking into this today, be discussing. It's not really a webinar to discuss the merits and demerits per se. It's actually to actually look at the core issues. So the existence of the full regime itself would have had very core social, political, and economic ramifications for Nigeria. Now, the removal of the subsidy has got ramifications as well. And that is what we'll be looking at today. And We have one of the most qualified people to talk about this in our midst today. Is just so that if anybody is saying, "Oh, you didn't ask him," so nowadays you get accused for everything. The day you say, "Well, you even have a cousin who knows Buhari, so you've been to his house," people will say, "Oh, that's why you've not been insulting him when we've been insulting him for the past 8 years." People have a reason to just accuse people of everything, even when you're doing your best to be very fair, to be in the middle. But as a human being, you still have your own feelings, but you don't even make those feelings known. So let me declare in advance that tonight, the speaker for tonight is a friend of mine, a former a classmate of mine, more or less, coursemate as well. Well, not coursemate, but we did many courses together in the university. Both of us were in the old Ondo State University, which later became University of Ado Ekiti, and is now the Ekiti State University. So I'm very proud. This is another person that makes me proud to be called a product of that school, because when you see people like this who are achievers in the corporate world, it does make you, you actually want to claim them. You want to say, oh, I know him, but if the person is an armed robber, you just kind of try to dodge as well, well, were you in the same school? And then you start anyway, so as to give room and not take this too long. This gentleman used to be the former head of the sorry. So he used to be the in the past, he used to be the head of the oil and gas desk of Enterprise Bank Nigeria Limited. I don't know if it's still a limited. I think a PLC now. And currently, he is the chief executive officer of Stewart Morgan Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to to welcome my friend and our speaker for tonight, Mr. Gbenga Araoyinbo. Someone has corrected me before, said I should not even call you Mr. That is his chief. I said, well, you've not told me you're a chief yet, but he said, no, you're a chief. So, Gbenga Araoyinbo, you're most welcome. Glad to have you with us. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure having you here. So, and of course, tonight, like I said to you, there are going to be quite a few people joining us and of course, we're live on social media, and we'll probably be taking questions from social media as well. But we've got a few people joining us in house. I've got the Secretary General of our organization, PLIDE Shalafa Emi, who is with us. That's the engine room that does quite a lot of the things people see out there. Of course, with support from quite a lot. And of course, we've got our Region 2 Director, which is the Southwest region, Alaji Tijani Fatai, who is there with us as well. And of course, I know Wale Sanusi, quite colleagues of yours, Nike Dixon Amusa. And, I just want to encourage them, because we're going to allow them to have input as we go on in the program in terms of questions, and actually if they want to share their thoughts on quite a few areas. So, Benga, fuel subsidy regime. For the layman out there, people are saying, of course, my grandmother there in the village, or someone who is a mechanic there, for them the long and short of it is going to the filling station, buying petrol. That's all they understand with this. Can you break it down for a layman? What the fuel subsidy thing was it all about? Hmm, hmm, hmm,
a cheaper price to the citizen, just to cushion the effect of the high cost of that product. So it has been on right from 1970, from the 70s, but actually it became a law in 1977 under the Price Control Act. So we have lived with it since then. Government has lived with it up to now. So it's a kind of a social contract between the government and the citizen. It's a social contract. Okay. So now when you say the socio-political reality, the socio-political reality is that that social contract has now been violated, it has now been breached, it has now been trashed, and the people will naturally react. And people are reacting. The government has violated the social contract. So that's the social-political reality. Why people are now angry with government. That social contract has been violated. So the question is that, does government have a choice? But to me, government does not have a choice to violate the social contract. Because in the 70s, what was the population? It was not humongous like this. And what was the daily consumption? Maybe like around 3 million liters per day, 3 million liters per day. And then whatever that was consumed daily was presented to government. So government to carry that responsibility. Government to shoulder it. The national budget to accommodate it. Because 3 million liters per day was not a big deal to government. But as population increased, the daily volume that we consume also increased. But the truth is that we have never consumed more than 10 to 11 million liters per day. But now government has to grapple with about 69 million liters per day, which is not true. So, and the problem with subsidy is the corruption in it. The corruption in it. That's the problem with subsidy. If you ask me, now that subsidy has gone, we have come back to 30 million liters per day.
Wow.
Can government shoulder 30 million liters per day? The answer is yes. But government will never get that accurate figure if the subsidy is in place. Because the corruption in it is now endemic. So government has to just throw away the baby with the baking water so that can be peace. Now, if you look at the difference between 30 million liters and 69 million liters, so we are looking at about 56 million liters of fraud
in the system.
And a liter is being subsidized at the rate of over 300 naira, over 300 naira per liter. So multiply 300 naira in 56 million places. That is money that is being stolen. That's money that's being stolen. Now, the cargo will come in to offshore. The oil marketers, they bring the papers and give it to Nigeria Port Authority, PPRA and NNPC. Fake papers, fake letters of credit, and people will sign it. Because the money in it is more than enough to bribe anybody. You can even bribe angel of God out of the money. He will sign the paper. That's the bitter truth. At the end of the day, government will pay subsidy on 56 million liters that was not consumed in Nigeria. All these products are diverted to the neighboring countries. For example, now this year, the national budget is 21.83 trillion naira. 30% of it, about 7 trillion naira, is supposed to go for subsidy. By the time you look at education, you look at health sector, you look at the construction, infrastructure, which is just about 4.3 trillion naira. But you have subsidy that's about 7 trillion naira. So no reasonable government, no serious government will allow that to continue. So there's no way government will not violate the social contract of a subsidy. It just has to go. It is not sustainable. It's a fraud. It's a monster. And it has fed up for so long. So subsidy has to go. The government is on the brink of bankruptcy. And the only way to save this country is to get rid of subsidy. And you are looking about saving 7 trillion naira from the national budget that should have gone into the hand of few oil importers. That is the background to this discourse.
That's a very, very, thank you so much, Gbenga. You've really done great justice there. And of course, there was a message there from Nika Dixon Amusa, great insight. Thank you. And really, that's really, really great insight. You've said some scary stuff already. 69, 13.
Yeah.
69, 13. 13 million. Now there's the argument, and you're an expert in this field. There's the argument by certain people that, well, many of us are just too happy to say, well, the 56 million liters are suddenly aren't being consumed anymore. That it's actually a law of purchasing power. That the people now have reduced purchasing power. Some have suggested that there's no corruption in it, and that maybe the corruption is just about 3%. That the main, yeah. I mean, it's that's why I'm putting it to you. Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
The bank established letters of credit for 6 million liters. But Nadabu Energy presented documents to Nigeria Post Authority and NAPC for 16 million liters.
My God. My God.
In 2011, government paid Nadabu 761 million naira as a subsidy claim. Look at exchange rate in 2011. 761 million naira. You can Google it. Nadabu Energy. If you Google it, it will give you the case. That's my customer. That's my customer. He imported 6 million, but he preserved paper for 16 million liters.
Oh my God.
And he got 761 million in subsidy payments. So subsidy is all about over invoicing. It's just about over invoicing. And people get paid for it. So government does not have the choice. Any serious government has to get rid of subsidy. And we all know that when subsidy is gone, people must buy petrol at the correct market price. So we now pay more for a liter of PMS. And naturally, that will lead to inflation. And that will lead to erosion of disposable income. Once we know the importance of PMS in our society, transportation, business, that means people will incur more cost to do business. The driver will pay more to do his business, and they have to transfer the cost to consumers. Yeah. So consumer disposable income will be eroded. So it's a natural thing. It will happen, and it has happened. So there'll be general increase in price level, which that's the inflation. So that is the reality, and there's nothing anybody can do about that. That's the truth. But at the right time, there'll be equilibrium.
Wow. Now, Gbenga, I'm going to get me right by you will know the nature of these webinars we do. Is this when I push a question to you at times, it's not me doubting what you've said, or it's not me. It's just I've got to. I am doing it from the point of a presenter, of a moderator who knows some of the questions out there that people ask, and of course I'll be taking questions from social media and from our own in-house live feed. And be asking you. You mentioned Nadabo oil, and you spoke to the point of record. That's a huge allegation. So now, straight away, I was googling like you recommended, and of course, I saw this news report from 13th of December 2022. EFCC closes fraud case against Nadabo Energy boss. It says the EFCC on Monday closed its case in the trial within trial against Abubakar Peters and his company Nadabo Energy Limited, who are being prosecuted for alleged offenses bordering on obtaining money under false pretense, diversion of federal government funds, and forgery to the tune of 761,628,993.84 naira before Justice S.S. Ogunsoya of the Lagos State High Court sitting in Lagos. This is scary. One customer, 760 million. And you said that this company presented, actually had a letter of credit for 6 million cubic liters, but went to present papers for 16 million to the federal government, 10 million extra cubic meters. Now, Gbenga, you've spoken to the point of record because you are so much on record now that someone tomorrow can come and say, well, defamation, we're suing you. So for you to have gone to say this means you have your records. Now, people, the bank itself, because there are many people involved in these scams. The banks, the officials of the PPRA, of the NNPC, even governments, how come, why would a bank not report? Anyway, get me right, I know you're no longer there, and I know that you've got to protect your daily bread. People, and these things are happening daily. You are talking of one. For me, I can't, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my head around the 761 million. One company alone, 10 million extra liters. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now, every bank has an obligation to do some reporting to the fraud authorities, for things like this within the system. Now, can we look at the enablers of this? Of course, I know you said, obviously, nobody can bribe an angel of God. If you can bribe someone in that position, that would be a demon, not an angel. But basically, I mean, you were talking metaphorically that, you know what, even the cleanest people will be. Now, the enablers of this system, the enablers of this system, can you tell us the things in the system that really have enabled it? And we know people are fighting against it as well, and I will continue to sustain this regime. Hmm.
The matter is that this thing never happened. This thing never existed. But people still collect these documents and sign up on it. It's a corruption. It's a network. It's an organized crime. People know that this is a fraud. Now, how can NFPC now turn around and now tell us that we now consume 13 million liters from 69 million liters before Tinubu said subsidy is gone? The question now is why that NFPC, where have you been getting all these people with which you are paying subsidy? So something is an organized crime in Nigeria. Do you know if this is still on 7 trillion from this year budget to go into this? Now 7 trillion naira, that's a billions of dollars. Oh my God, it's more than enough to beg anybody to sign any document.
Okay.
Yeah, and for the bank, let me give okay for the bank. EFCC wrote to us that we should explain some things. We explained what we put there, but we wrote back to NFPC that all we know is 6 million liters. The bank is not aware of 60 million liters. That's all. That is why you can't see our name in that case. That's why somebody like me is not mentioned in that case. That's why I'm in my house now talking to you.
I'm not in jail.
I'm not in jail. In fact, we did not even know that something like that happened. The guy just came back that he has a problem. What is the problem? He says, I said, Ali, you collected 761 million naira, and you have been coming to my office every day. They are not telling me that you have collected 761 million naira and IFC is after you. So I was shocked. I said, you're on your own. You are just on your own. So that is a terrible thing, my brother.
Wow.
It's a terrible thing.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much, Gbenga. There's so many questions we're going to, and I know our panelists, because we've got quite a few. I think we've got a few CEOs. Sorry, I'm going to mention everybody. We've got Nika Dixie Amusa. She's the I think she's the proprietress of GAHRD International School, Gwarimpa. We've got quite a few people. We've got the CEO of Exotic Me, Fumilola as well. So as the details are made available to me, I think Kola Olanlo, CEO, Right Choice, Innovative Solutions. So we've got quite a few people here tonight. I think we've got loads of CEOs in the house tonight. So thank you so much, Nike. So I'm going to put a few. Now you watch the interview. Would you call it an interview, or the press conference, so to say, by the former Niger Delta determination fighter Asari Dokubo? People usually say the guy is a dummy, the guy is a dunce. That was really articulate. That was really well put together. Whether he was speaking fact or not, he was really, really articulate. It was very revealing. Now, he talked about the military and the powers, behind the fuel, those who fleece the nation of its fuel resources, of its crude and all those things. And without endangering your life, because I know, but even though I know you to be a courageous man, what do you know about this? Because yesterday the Navy came out, the military have started coming out and say, well, no, that's not true. Give us evidence. What is your knowledge of all these? Yeah. Okay. I think okay. Yeah, go on, Gbenga, go on. You unmute yourself, Gbenga. I think you're muted. Okay. Yeah, no, you're okay now. Go on.
If they report what is being produced correctly, we have to pay royalty on that amount. And that will go straight to petroleum profit tax. What do we do to cut down on the royalty payment? Then we have to under record what is being produced.
Oh my God.
That's where the crime start from. The meter with manifold, the pipeline, is it calibrated regularly? Is the meter recording the correct daily production of crude? Does NFDC know those pipelines, those that are functioning, those that are not functioning? The one that been diverted? The truth of the matter is that crude oil is being stolen.
Oh my God.
Massively. Because the government agencies have refused to do their work. Because any company will try to do everything not to record correct daily crude production, just to underpay royalty and also to underpay petroleum profit tax. So everything aside to Kubo said, they are valid and they are correct. That's the bitter truth. Why did government give that contract to Tompolo? And the NFP said that the crude oil was being stolen now. That's why that contract was awarded to Tompolo. That's the truth. That's the truth. But I know some oil company that closed down their operation, but I will not mention their name. Because once the crude oil leave their wellhead to the processing facility, and the product is being transported from process facility to terminal, it will not get to terminal. It don't get to export terminal. A very big oil company that does about 40,000 barrels a day had to shut down. Because they produce, the crude does not get to export terminal. So, that's the truth. That's the truth. NFPC confirm it. Many oil companies confirm it. That's for crude. We're not talking about PMS now. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gbenga.
And that is income leakage. Money that will go to foundation account will end up in private pockets.
Oh my God.
Billions of dollars.
Oh my God. Wow, Gbenga. In fact, I'm already, our members will be used to me making this statement every now and then that it would look like we will still have to bring you back because there's so many questions. We're still going to talk about the crude swap. Once we finish with the crude swap, then we go into the nitty-gritty of the fuel subsidy removal. But before we go that far, there are quite a few questions that have been put to you here by PLIDE Transformational, and I'm going to ask these questions. Is gone, sir, why is it difficult for the government over the years to track and curb the corruption in subsidy payments over the years, obviously, where the payments made in cash, is that an organized crime that cannot be curbed, obviously, by the powers of the government, coercive powers of the government? Can we then infer that government lacks the goodwill in tackling corruption in that sector? And then he's gone further to say, are those cabals more powerful than the government? He says, many questions are begging for answers, sir. And of course, he's gone further here to say, sadly, government agencies have failed in discharging their responsibilities without compromise. The question is just that, why is it difficult for the government to fight corruption head on in that sector? So there are quite a lot of questions there for you. Obviously, because of our time, I've tried to pack them together, which is not really the proper thing to do, to be honest.
During Obasanjo regime, the price of crude oil averaged $100 per barrel for almost 8 years. Again, government was paying the difference between the control price and actual price. But as at the time I was with PhD in 28, 29, 2010, I left PhD in 2011. Our daily consumption then was still less than 15 million liters per day. So, government was still carrying that burden. And as at that time, it was still in excess of not less than, cannot even be less than $5 billion as at that time also. But because under Obasanjo regime, crude average like 100 barrels, I mean $100 per barrel. So Obasanjo regime has a lot of money to pay subsidy. And that's the truth. And the oil theft was not like they were still averaging like about 4 million barrels per day. And it can crash from 4 million barrels per day to about 1.5 million barrels per day. You can see the difference. And NNPC would just be selling the crude oil and use the money to pay oil market and subsidy. NNPC will not remit $1 to federation accounts. NNPC will not even get a National Assembly approval. Sell the crude, use the money to pay oil marketers. And I think you understand that also. Without even parliamentary approval. Now the question is that how can a human being approve subsidy payment for 69 million liters per day? The same human being has now come back and he has told us we are now consuming 30 million liters per day. So it takes political will to take all these tough decisions. But thank God for Tinubu, who had the political will to say enough is enough. Everybody knows that subsidy is a fraud. Look at that case. That case has been on for how many years? That's almost 11 years. Government knew that people were stealing money through subsidy, and government has still been paying people subsidy. When there are various cases of stolen money through subsidy in court, the government continue to pay subsidy. Does it make sense to you? But thank God for Bola Tinubu, who has done the right thing. And what he has done simply is that about 7 trillion naira that few people should have collected can now be reinvested in other sectors of the economy. About 7 trillion now will not go to those cover. It will now be have you heard about Shopee before? Shopee.
Yes.
Now, do you know the meaning of Shopee? Shopee simply means subsidy.
Reinvestment program.
It has been there that we will remove this thing and this money will be reinvested. But nobody did it. The Shopee has always been there, but now it will now be reinvested into other sectors of the economy. And I will talk further on this. For example, like investment in transportation, mass transportation, that can help the average Nigerian, that can help to cushion the effect of this inflation triggered by this high prices because of subsidy removal. So, like me now, I cannot have not gone out with my car for more than 3 times.
This year?
I have to go through public transport. It's cheaper for me. That's the truth.
You mean since the subsidy was removed? That's what you mean?
Yes. I have not gone out with my car for more than 3 times.
So even you, a big man, you're impacted as well. Wow.
So that make use of that. Why the millionaires and billionaires can continue to write their picture. But the majority who are about 80% or 85% can now make do with public transport. Yeah. And again, you can now see that we are now have a food regulation of the downstream of the oil and gas segment or sector. Now, investors can now come in. The bottleneck has been removed. You know, subsidy is a fiscal policy. You know that as an economist.
Yes.
Subsidy is a fiscal policy. Now, with this, the bottleneck, the problem, the anti-investment variables have been cleared up. Investors cannot bring their money. Invest in the sector. People cannot build a modular refinery. Dangote refinery will start if they are not lying to us by July. I know people have money now, they put it in modular refineries. They can produce and sell their product at market price. And all this will generate employment. And again, look at this. By the time Dangote product comes to the market and some modular refinery product comes to the market, the price will still come down. Because the products that are being imported, you have to factor into it freight, which is shipping cost, and the marine insurance cost. By the time you take out the marine insurance cost and the freight, the shipping cost, when you remove it from the cost, you can see the price still come down. Because what we are buying now still is marine insurance cost and freight still included in it. That we are buying in Lagos for 488. So by the time Dangote product and motor refinery product come into market, marine insurance cost and freight cost will be out of it. So the price will still come down to around 300, 350 thereabouts, and there'll be market competition. Yeah, what we are buying now is still the marine cost, marine insurance cost, and the freight included in the cost.
Wow.
So by that the freight, the shipping cost, and the marine insurance cost, you can see the price will come down.
Wow. Okay. There's another question here for you. Of course, we're going to, at some point, we're going to open the microphones on so people can actually ask you directly and can make contributions. But there's a question here from Alaj Fatai Tigadi. Unfortunately, Mr. President held a meeting with these marketers. Do we have hope of them being probed? So basically, he's just saying, you know what, that, these, that, of course, the president has met with them to seek their help. Are they ever going to be probed?
Go to lawyers. Get all the documents. Let them prove that those cargoes came into the country. Yeah, government can actually get to the bottom of this because don't go to lawyers. The feeling that this cargo better at Lagos outside there. Then go to the tell us the product, the volume that came in. You find that is a lie. It never happened. If it happened, government pays subsidy and was diverted to Cameroon, diverted to Togo, to Benin Republic. So, actually should not stop at removing subsidy. I think actually should go deeper to reclaim the stolen fund because they are traceable. Yeah, they are traceable.
Thank you so much, Gbenga. Now, I know where the questions are coming fast and furious, you know, in such a way that to move us into the fuel subsidy thing. Of course, we're going to discuss that in full, and you already said there's certain things you're going to be talking about as we go on. But I'm very minded to talk about the crude swap in layman's language. Gbenga, please, can you explain the crude swap and what has been happening with it, and what, yeah.
The documentation, the correct amount of crude that was given out, the equivalent in terms of refined products, did they find their way actually to Nigeria? Are they diverted on the road to other countries? You know, corruption is endemic in Nigeria. I think for us to actually make a problem, we need a social reorientation. Honestly speaking, many things are wrong with our nation. We are sick. We have mental problem. The sickness of corruption is inexplicable because by the time you even dig deep into this crucial, was it done on off OPEC allocation? Was it done through OPEC? You know, there are lots of things, you know, but I can't say a lot of things. You know?
I know you're strong. I think because you're a player within the industry and you have a lot of knowledge that quite a lot of us outsiders do not have. So I know you're being careful in terms of balancing confidentiality and the need to actually address the point where you know it is. We'll leave you in that regard. You're not a government official, so there's no way we can start probing deep inside of you. Let me take another comment, another question here. This is from Shalafa Emi. The president has finally halted the subsidy payment, which is laudable. Meanwhile, it is not enough to applaud President Bola Tinubu on that stringent move without getting clear figures on how much will be saved and how the savings will be adequately spent. Removing subsidy is not enough without a clear roadmap on how the savings will be spent and on what it will be spent. We should be careful not to be planting another corruption while killing one. Of course, I want you to address just to address that, but basically, I think quite a lot of Nigerians we're mixing it up really. Uh, in fact, the first thing is not even to be talking about savings because Nigeria was actually borrowing to pay the subsidy. So it's not like we're taking money from our pocket to fund it. We're actually borrowing to fund the subsidy. So that is not technically, you might say, well, we're saving the money that we should, but really, we're actually not, we wouldn't need to borrow. So it is now, are we able to make, so let me leave you, Gbenga, to address that. Hmm. Hmm.
So we are not left with 30 million,
Hmm.
which if you look at it now, it should not be more than 8 million liters 7 million liters per day anymore. Vehicles now. Because around this place now, you can hardly hear the noise of generator.
Everybody is switching off.
Yes. So, that we buy at the market price. So government does not have to go and borrow money to pay money for what we did not even consume. So just 7 million liters, realistically. So people go and buy at market price. So government is not going to subsidize the 7 million liters. That's the truth.
Sorry, go on.
Now, the part of the budget that will have been given to some group will no longer be given to them. It will now be reinvested in infrastructure, in education, in healthcare, in social scheme that can increase or improve the living standard of the people.
Absolutely.
That's just it. So government will no longer either pick the money from our revenue or borrow the money to give to a group of people. That's not happening again.
Yeah.
So that money from the national budget will now be free up and spent on other sectors that can grow the economy, that can boost the GDP, that can create an environment for economic growth and economic development.
Thank you so much, Gbenga. I know people on the panel, they're really raring to ask questions. I think I'll probably for the next 20 minutes or thereabout allow them to ask questions, whether by tapping it in or joining the conversation to say something. And then I'll go back to being the one who is running the questions after that. I think for the next 20 minutes or thereabout, we do that. Thank you so much, Nika Dixon Amusa. Again, very beautiful session. Thank you to the conveners and the resource person are very knowledgeable. Thank you so much. Gbenga is really very in depth. Look, at times, there are times you bamboozle people, you try to give out some, some statistics here and there, but deep down but you can see that we're talking to an industry insider who really understands the nitty gritty of all these things. And apologies again to that our friend who said to me that why would you be calling Gbenga? You're just saying Gbenga, that is actually Chief Gbenga, Oh, you are no longer. Did you drop your chieftaincy title after you became a pastor? Okay, so I'm going to allow our panelists to ask questions. Please keep your questions very short. I'm going to start with Shola Fahemi first, and then I'll go to Nika Dixon Amusa, and then Alaj Tijani, then Wale Sanusi, and just allow everybody, if you want to, whether it's a question you have or a comment and everything, So Shola Fahemi, you can unmute yourself. Let's take you first. Then Nika, please get ready after that. No, he said he's no longer chief. He said he's pastor now.
We must be able to have clear analysis in number and figure. How much are they to save from this possible payment? And what are they going to be spent on? planting another corruption while we are killing another one. It's good. The president has removed it. But the president and the government need to come out to us and play out that from this subsidy, removal that has been contract stage, these are the numbers we're going to save from that, and these numbers are going to be spent on this and that. There must be probability and accountability on the part of government. If you don't want to begin the same thing with the way we've been doing it in the time past, this government came with the narrative to change whatever it has been happening in the years of here, and that is commendable. But at the same time, we need to step further from them. They need to come out to tell us, okay, with the savings from the subsidy, these are what the number of employment are going to generate. And away from that, what are the palliative measures being pulled by the government in light the effect of this as drastic news on the citizens? Like you said, sir, some of us might be thinking that it's safer to take the public transport. We might be saying it's safer, like myself, I go from Ibadan to Ibadan for every week. We can be saying it's safer to fly public transport. But what is the measure put in place in ensuring that this public transport are actually safe for us? I've seen scenarios on the expressway in which the tire of one of these buses is going to go off the road. We've seen scenarios in which most of these drivers will not regularly, service their car. Their brakes might be bad. Many of them at times manage their car, and because of their tenacity to try to maximize profit, they put some cars that are not really fit on the road. It cannot be said because we are putting costs, because it's easier and safer and cheaper to fly public transport, and they put their life in jeopardy. So we need to understand what are the measures we need to put in place by this government in, pushing the effect of this drastic move on the masses. Away from some of us saying public transport is cheaper than city staff. Many of us know the drastic increase in the prices of goods and commodities in the market in these few weeks that this subsidy has been removed. So there are so many other adverse effects on the citizens. What are the measures being put in place by the government in pushing this effect? Those are just my things. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Ejen. So, Gbenga, over to you. And then, Nick, please get ready. You're next after Gbenga answers it.
Okay. Those people who are salary earners, I strongly believe that the government should review to do.
Just to mention, Gbenga, sorry, as you're talking on, we're seeing your silhouette now. It's we're just seeing a very black figure now, so there's no light in your face anymore. So just so that you take note of that as you're going on, the light is behind you, so we can't see you properly. But you just go on. I don't want to, so you can resolve that later once you have the chance. Hello, Gbenga. Okay, I think we lost him there. Um, I don't know whether to wait for him, but I think he's frozen from his end. So we'll try to get Gbenga back. But in the mean, okay, so we've lost Gbenga there. I believe he's gonna come back. So in the meantime, let's go with Nika Dixon Amusa, please. Just you go on. Nika is she's the proprietress, I believe. GAHRD International School, Gwarimpa, Abuja. So Nika, let's hear from you. Just unmute yourself, Nika. Um, I've sent you a request to unmute, so that should help. Oh, okay. So so we're just going to move on from Nika for now, and then we're expecting Gbenga. Oh, Gbenga is back. Gbenga is back now. Gbenga is back, and I know. Okay, so Gbenga, so just unmute yourself and let's continue with so you just continue at the point you were making. Just press the unmute. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're back now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Do upward review of salaries for, let's say, junior workers that will be largely negatively impacted by inflation. nothing. There are no two ways to that. Yes, government should show up the disposable income of salary earners. And now, those who are not salary earners, I believe that there should be a social security program like a cash transfer. There should be a social security like cash transfer to people. And the problem is that will you get to them? Because there are a lot of programs put in place by the previous administration to do cash transfer, and billions of naira, let me say trillions of naira were disbursed, but did not get to the people. That's the truth. A lot of money from POI, a lot of social intervention funds did not get to the people. So I don't know how government is going to do it, but there should be a kind of cash transfer to the poor people. Yeah.
Thank you.
And it should be done maybe for like maybe 1 year or 6 months before we have fuel from Dangote, from Mudla refinery, where the price can be a little bit stabilized, come to around the 300, 250, 300. Like I said, when we remove the marine cost, insurance cost, and the freight. But before then, people need a safety net. But the administrative bottleneck and the corruption will not allow this cash transfer to get to these people.
To the end.
So even our number one enemy in Nigeria is the corruption. If you ask me now, we are not cost more than 7 million liters. Can government pay the subsidy? Government can carry it. But the moment they will increase it again. So they will increase it again. I can tell you free that with 7 million liters per day, government can pay subsidy on it. But they will not allow it to remain at 7 million liters. It will go up again.
And Gbenga, looking at the impact, because we're beginning to go into the impact, please, Alhaji Tijani, get ready. I'm going to call you next, but just get ready. Now the impact, as you begin to go, we're beginning to see, I mean, last penultimate week, we had people gather in Cameroon, and they were threatening the president of Nigeria, for daring to remove subsidy on petrol it was, they were actually threatening, they were cursing and threatening the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And it's been the same, we're hearing the same stories from Benin Republic as well. And of course, in Niger, in Chad, these are the same things. Now you said some of them diverted on the seas. Can you, I mean, for the layman who is watching, and some of these terms that some of us, some people know, they're really too technical for some out there as well. They're like, how can it be diverted on the seas? Is it not a ship that is bringing it? So can you explain that bit?
You usually stop at the Togo. Then the daughter vessel will go there and do what we call a transshipment to Apapa port. But like I said earlier, the document will be brought and given to government officials to sign from the ICE. Those products will be diverted to neighboring countries.
My God.
So the one that the daughter vessel will bring to Apapa will show you trucks to take it to Cameroon to Benin Republic.
My God.
That's why the people are protesting. And these are products subsidized by the government. At least 300 naira per liter subsidy on a liter.
for citizens of Benin Republic, citizens of Cameroon, citizens of Niger,
Yeah.
citizens of Chad.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the product is not they have to start. And even Cameroon is not down than Ghana 5 years ago.
Really? Why?
Yeah. Because now the super fight from Nigeria.
Are you? Wow, it's getting more interesting. Actually, so they shut down their own refinery because there was really no point refining since they were getting products from Nigeria. So oh my God. Thank you so much, Gbenga. Let me quickly go to Alaji Tijani Fatai. Tijani Fatai, let's hear from you. Unmute yourself. Let's hear from you. Thank you so much. So I'm very happy that at least you're taking quite a few things away from it that you're going to be using on your radio show as well. So he holds regular programs on the Osun State Broadcasting Service across the television and the radio. Thank you so much. Perhaps you might also want to make use of Gbenga as well because really this there are only few people who have as much knowledge of the things that go on inside as it does. So Benga, can you respond to what he just said there?
Go to Lloyd's. You get all the information. The date that the vessel arrived. You can get all the information. The volume, the date. You can get everything. And how the payment was made. And who received the payment. You can just NFTC and Nigeria Port Authority to make all these documents available. And Central Bank, MBA, NFTC, PPRA, and the Central Bank. And you can't just collect this kind of billions of dollars for over 15 years and walk away with it. Who does that in a state society? That should be recovery. And if you look at that, my customer, if you go and read that case, he has agreed with with the federal government to make a refund of 761 million naira.
The entire sum. Wow, that's the
Yes,
first time.
because it was proved, that he collected the money fraudulently for 10 million liters subsidy. The case was proven beyond reasonable doubt, and he has agreed. Go back and read the case. He has agreed to make refund.
Hmm,
Yeah. So
hmm.
every other person, do you remember this Kano rep then that he went to Femi Otodola and he was giving $50,000 that put inside his car?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. The House of Representatives.
The
Hmm,
guy that
hmm,
you remember it was
hmm.
I believe that Tinubu should go after these people. But the problem is that if
That's
they get
Honorable Farouk Lawan. Farouk Lawan.
yeah,
You're referring to.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, why they were
Hmm,
you should understand all this thing now.
hmm. Wow. Thank you so
But
much.
unfortunately, these are high and big people in the country. Can Tinubu take them on? That's the question.
Hmm. Thank you so much, Gbenga. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I
So,
really.
for example, did Oando participate in it?
Hmm.
So, who has a management is a country? I'm not saying this, I'm just asking questions.
Hmm. You're
So,
asking that did Oando did they participate in the okay?
you can understand this question now.
Hmm.
That's how important them is.
Hmm.
So, are we going to abandon them and say to continue to go or what?
And see no more.
So, if a company like Oando did not participate, it will be very easy for somebody like Tinubu to go after them.
Hmm.
I'm not saying Oando participate. I'm just asking questions.
Yes.
Because some of these oil marketers also should be close to the president also. Is he ready to bring them down?
Hmm. Now, let me ask you, Benga, if you were the president, what would you be doing in that regard? Because, first of all, the depot manager, depot owners, or something, the association was led by the immediate past president, I believe, or one of their recent presidents, Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State, to meet the
Yeah.
president. And of course, you've mentioned Wale Tinubu of Huando, and of course, you're not suggesting they've done anything wrong, but you're just saying,
No, I'm just
assuming,
asking.
yeah, that
The
assuming
the
they're
the
involved.
the current governor, the
Yeah.
president of the state,
Hmm.
is an oil marketer. I think he's the owner of NGO. Am I correct?
Not sure. Go on. Not sure.
Like I know he has whether NGO or something like that. He has Socio-Political products. He has several filling stations
Hmm.
across Nigeria. That's a fact. I tell you that one for free.
Wow.
But I'm not sure whether it's NGO or I'm not sure. But how many of them participated? How many of them did not participate?
Hmm. Hmm.
And these are powerful people in the society.
Absolutely.
Is it going to be by negotiation?
Hmm.
That okay, break 60% and go away with 40%?
Hmm. Wow.
Who collected the one of last year? Who collected the one of 2021? Who collected the one of 2022? The record that they are now, I think that should be refund. That should be recovery. I strongly believe that.
Hmm.
People should not be allowed to walk away with that kind of money. Billions of dollars. Okay, bring the money, you will not go to jail. That should be some. We can't just sweep all this thing under carpet. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Benga. It's getting all the more interesting because when you look at the hemorrhaging of Nigeria, of our finances, of our resources, the theft of crude oil on the high seas, from wellheads like you rightly alluded to, and the fact that quite a lot of states have not even been, obviously it begs the questions that why are states themselves not resourceful in terms of finding other sources of income and all those things. But you know what, when one looks at it, then there's anger. It's really this country, our nation has borrowed so much money to be able to make subsidy payments over the years. And of course, we've had NLC and TUC threatening to go on strike and everything. But we'll come back to that, Gbenga. Let me go to Oluwase Olabintan. She's joined us. Okay, so and of course, Oluwase, do you want to unmute yourself and let's hear from you on this? Before I start, and of course, Tosin Akeredolu, Mr. Akeredolu, you get ready as well. Just unmute yourself and let's have your comment or question if you have any. Okay. Uh, okay. I think I'll leave that for now because of if you're struggling with your microphone, I really we've got to move on, got to cover as much. Now, Benga, the subsidy has been removed. And before we go into the core social and political and economic impacts, now there's been this argument about CNG and LPG. Of course, LPG we know is a byproduct of the refining process. So it's even a good thing that you're selling it rather than just burning it away. And then, of course, we know compressed natural gas. So there are two questions in one. Number one, suddenly the subsidy on petroleum on premium motor spirits petrol was removed, and suddenly by a dint of magic, because Nigeria is not like a European country where you've got summer, you've got winter, where you need gas more. People use gas for cooking essentially in Nigeria, and it's probably the number one thing that is used in the urban centers. If you go to the villages and co, you might have firewood, charcoal, and all those things. Suddenly the price, the retail price of LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, which people are using in their household, they started going down everywhere. People are talking about it. Is there a correlation? What is happening really? What is leading to that? Because it's really come down so substantially.
The prices are determined by market forces, like the demand and supply, the force of demand and supply, even including jet fuel, aviation fuel. The price also came down.
Hmm.
And believe me, I still don't understand why that price crashed. I tell you the truth, because it's not a regulated product.
Hmm.
So does it mean that the demand actually crashed,
Hmm.
that dragged down the prices? So if I want me to look at it from the economic, from the market interplay, the forces of demand and supply. So I would say, to be safe, I know at least to be on the side where I can defend. I would say the demand crash, and when demand crash, price will also what? Price will also crash.
But Gbenga, are people are not cooking any less, are they? They're not cooking less, are they? Because I'm happy you've said that, and I hope someone can help us throw light on it as we go on. Because all of there must be a correlation somewhere. There might be something in the value chain, where certain people have been feasting.
Also,
Hmm.
and because the local capacity cannot meet the demand.
Hmm.
The NLG and others,
Hmm.
to in the market.
Yeah.
And crude price also determine the the price of LPG also
Hmm.
because they are associated products.
Absolutely.
And honestly speaking, I actually what is going on true that the moment this subsidy was removed, cooking gas price came down,
Hmm.
aviation fuel price came down. So to be on the safer side, I would just conclude that is the market of the forces of market the demand and supply that are just playing out.
Okay.
At least for
Okay.
now, as an
just just to be on the safe side. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gbenga. Now it's oh okay. Yeah. Oh, Tosi, yeah, go on. Go on, please. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Wow, Mr. Akeredolu, thank you so much. I applied that Akeredolu. Really, really, you've touched on very key things there. So let me leave Benga to just run into that straight away because we've got like just about 34 minutes more, and I still want to give you the I believe some of you still have additional questions or comments to make. And of course you can always put your comments in the chat box if you don't want to talk or your questions, and Benga will take them So Gbenga, please address the things you raised.
The problem of corruption is endemic. It's endemic. The budget of National Assembly now, I think about 350 billion, that's related to 350 billion. Does it make sense?
That's a lot of money.
Why will people not do everything to win election? Because it's very lucrative to be in those offices. And politics is the most lucrative business in Nigeria. And this boils down to corruption. So there must be a clear objective on how to prevent corruption, how to detect corruption, discourage corruption, prevent it, and detect it. Because it should not be easy for people to steal government money. In Europe, in America, they steal government money, but how much can they steal? If they steal, can they go unpunished? The answer is no. Now, are there social intervention? Are there infrastructure? Do we have enabling environment for people to grow their business? Things that discourage people from stealing. As of today, we don't have them. So stealing government money is still very enticing. That is why this government needs to do a lot of private, public-private partnership to open up the power sector, the electricity. There are laws have been signed as enabling environment to translate this law into action, into business. So today, if we can have, let's say, 15 hours of power supply every day, number one, we will not be consuming more than 5 million liters of petrol daily. Because people that do business, they will not need petrol or diesel to do their business anymore. Electricity is cheaper. People will make more profit to grow their business. Business owner can employ more people. If you look at the financial report of companies that own business, more than 50% of their cost goes into power, into diesel and petrol. So I believe and I will trust Tinubu to seriously get government to partner with the private business owner to actually open up the electricity, bring the business, bring the money, bring the investment.
You're muted, Gbenga. You muted yourself accidentally, I believe. Press the unmute button on your screen. Okay. Yeah, we can hear you now, Gbenga. We can hear you. Go on. We can hear you. Go on. We can hear you, Gbenga. Go on. We can hear you. Go on. Yeah, we can hear you. Go on. We can hear you loud and clear. We can hear you, Gbenga. I think maybe a call keeps coming at your end and then it mutes you each and every time. So just always unmute yourself once that comes in. But let me try to unmute you from here. So press the unmute button, please. Just unmute yourself. Thank you. Okay, so you're back now. Yeah, you're back now. We can hear you now. Yeah, loud and clear. We can hear you. Hmm.
No, a lot of business will come will be generated. The GDP will grow. And many people can't do business today because there's no power supply. So if government can start the power supply and get into the power supply, I can tell you our GDP should be close to $1 trillion.
You're muted again. We're having issues with you getting muted repeatedly. Yeah, go on. I believe some people are trying to reach you, but that's fine. Yeah, so we can hear you. Gbenga, go on. Just go on. Yeah, go on, Gbenga. We can hear you.
So this government power supply,
Mm.
when we will not even need more than 5 million barrels. Dangote will continue to export its petroleum product to countries that have no power supply.
Mm.
That is the truth.
Wow.
And yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Mm.
Then let's look at rail transport.
Mm.
Government and the private business owners to come together, do something new,
Mm.
do a modern rail system
Mm.
that can move people around faster and cheaper.
Mm.
Yeah, we need to get rail. We need to get it right. We really need to move into that. We need to crisscross Nigeria with rail line. If
Mm.
we can, in the next 5 years, we can crisscross Nigeria with rail line. Many vehicles will be off the road.
Mm. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gbenga. So
Can you see me?
yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Go on. Go on. We can hear you.
Yeah. So foreign investment, modern rail system, a lot of vehicles will be off the road, and transport will become cheaper, better, safer, and faster.
Mm.
These are the critical infrastructures
Thank you so much.
that government should look into a lot. Critical infrastructure.
Mm.
Critical infrastructure. But in the meantime, mass transit can be invested into. Why any the time they have a crisscross of modern rail lines in the country. But that is where we should move to. Not BRT. No. We
Mm.
should go like South Korea, Japan, and China.
Mm.
Asia generally. So they believe so much in a rail system of transport. So Nigeria, we have the land, we have everything. We should move toward that.
Thank
And
you.
electricity,
Okay.
rail, electricity, rail. And again, if you even look at the oil sector, the gas resources has not been tapped into. Nigeria is a gas zone. Nigeria, we have more gas than crude oil.
Mm.
Nigeria can make more money in gas than the crude oil we are talking about. So government also to work with private business owner to go back to the Nigeria gas roadmap that has been abandoned. They should go back to that roadmap and unlock this opportunity. Nigeria will make more money in gas than crude oil.
Mm.
That's the truth. Nigeria is a gas zone. We accidentally have crude oil.
Mm.
What we really have is gas.
Wow.
Yeah. Like
Mm.
Qatar. You see what Qatar is making from gas?
Absolutely.
We have, and let me tell you, the gas we have as of today are the associated gas that we encounter when we were looking for crude oil.
Wow.
So we have not actually looked for the gas. We have the gas because we are looking for crude oil. Because the gas and the crude oil and water, they live together inside the same sedimentary rock.
Absolutely.
So by the time you drill down into the sedimentary rock, the gas and the crude oil, they will come out together. And since we say we need the crude oil we want, we have been cleaning the gas since 1959.
Absolutely.
We have been burning it up. So apart from the train 1 to 4 NLNG, we have not deliberately invested in it. The last one that was done by Obasanjo regime. Yeah, though has not done. We still have like about that train, 5 trains. Right now, we still have like about 10 trains of that NLNG. So we can actually make more money from gas. And you know what that one means. So I believe that this government should open up the gas, take the gas, bring it for investor, and let us push the gas massively. Look at what is happening in Europe now. The Middle East, they are making billions of dollars from gas. But we are nowhere to be found. Even the crude oil, we are nowhere to be found. Since the Ukraine, China, Russia, the Russia was started, we have not been able to push significant volume of crude oil into the market because the production is not there. And like Saudi Arabia, like Qatar, like Kuwait, like
you're muted again, Gbenga. I think when those calls are trying to come into you, it just mutes you right away. Yeah, we can hear you now. We can hear you. Okay, we can hear you. Okay, I think someone is trying to ring you. In the meantime, I will. Okay, Gbenga has left now. I think he's been disturbed with calls or something. He's probably gonna. He's most definitely gonna join back. I believe that we've had because the next questions I want to ask, and he's already going into the export of the gas, and of course the CNG, compressed natural gas, which is marketers are saying they can actually flood the market with that at 100 naira per kg, so, and the question is how can government set up a conversion program funded or subsidized by the government in such a way that people can take their cars, their vehicles in, and this CNG, because CNG itself is very and it's safer than LPG anyway, because we know that CNG by its very nature is lighter than air, so it dissipates very quickly. So even if there was a leak, it's actually a lot safer. It's not really as combustible in open spaces as the LPG. So I was going to ask him that question, but I'm going to go to Adebayo, to Joshua in the meantime. I believe we've got Joshua here, and we've got PLIDE Lukman in the house. So we'll probably take their comments, whether comments or questions or queries, whatever it is, whilst we wait for Gbenga. We've got just about 20 minutes to the end of the webinar. So Joshua, do you want to unmute yourself and let's hear from you, please, Joshua? Then after that, please PLIDE Lukman if you just want to get ready. Good evening.
even without power supply, and yet their economy is still holding down and it's still kind of surviving. But what if we now have electricity? I think it will be a way out for us. Then for the gas conversion, LPG, the CNG, well, I think it's another option. If actually we want, because currently now we are seeing it flying around how people are converting their generators to someone around me here who just converted it, and he said it is, at least for now, it's economical for him. He can still cope with it. He gets three kg, and 3 kg can take him for more than I think 1 kg takes him for 4 hours or 5 hours.
Wow.
3 kg will take him for about, yes, yes. So for people that use more of the generators, I think it's a very good way for them. And I agree with the our facilitator today that it is a way out. It is a way out. For me, I think that the government should also look into that sector and maximize the opportunities now that they're in this situation. Thank you very much, my convener.
Thank you so much, PLIDE Joshua. Really appreciate those thoughts. And for me, that's the first time I'm actually hearing about an end user talking about, already convert. And I mean, even in recent times, we've read about the quote and unquote, I passed my neighbor generators. A lot of them are being converted to CNG, to use CNG. Some are converting to use LPG. Obviously, LPG itself is very expensive. It's not as affordable as CNG, but CNG, and of course we know those parts that use CNG, the engines that use CNG, they need they're cheaper to run, but then you need to maintain them on a more regular basis because it's a drier, it's dry gas. So let's take Plida Lukman and then go back to Gbenga for like 10 minutes and then we'll close the session. Plida Lukman. Unmute yourself like that, Lukman. Good evening. And for you, it's very important we're hearing from you because you work with the safety, the MOT agency in Lagos State. You're those who check our cars and VIOs and all those things. So I mean, we're talking things like so. Let's hear from your perspective.
From what Brother Joshua just said, I believe God is also a good idea. But ordinarily, the removal of subsidy is the best way to go actually for Nigeria at this critical point because we did not actually utilize most of our resources. And that is the reason why I believe the best person that can do this for us is in that place currently. Gas. Even immediately after the removal of subsidy, we realized that gas has gone down because before I did buy 3 kg around 2,200 or 2,300. But the last time, that was last week, I bought that same 3 kg around 1,900.
Wow.
And we realized that in most houses, we make use of gas now. Everybody, compulsorily, even for cooking, we make use of gas. And in terms of petrol, yes, if electricity is available according to Joshua, that will make it more easier for people because presently, electricity is available if not to the maximum. But I don't really depend on that them giving us that electricity at this point because I realize in Nigeria during rainy season, ordinarily during rainy season, we do have electricity. That one is normal. So I'm still looking forward. Maybe probably by the end of this rainy season, something must have been done in terms of giving us more electricity to use because that will also reduce the effect on the masses. Because for more than a week now, I didn't make use of my generator.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
so it's only and there are many people I knew that have 3, 4 cars. Especially those that use there was a man I saw. The man make use of Sequoia. Sequoia, the man said, I won't take that car out. That is always at home now. That I'm using my camera because that camera doesn't consume much car. Yes. So this to me, this policy also will reduce the use of many cars. People just going to buy cars like 10, 8, because I have heard of a political officer having 8, 10 cars in their houses. To me, it's not normal. It's not normal. It's not the best way to go. So, but government should actually try to do something to minimize the effect on the market.
Okay.
They should work out something at least within 2 months. So, try to let me see more of that so that.
Thank you so much, PLIDE Ayole. In fact, you know, before you came on the webinar, I think guest speaker actually talked about his own car as well. He's a big man by all standards, but the big man said now he prefers to go on public transport. So it does appear that this thing is actually resetting our, resetting our mindset, so to say, as a nation. You know, and just like the days when we used to turn on the lights, you know, if you go abroad, you see people who come to visit you from Nigeria, from other places. You know, if they go in their rooms everywhere, the lights are always on. When they sleep, when they go out, they leave all the lights on. You know, and so and I remember, you know, there was I was in a friend's house in Nigeria recently, and in last year, and the person was like, before anyway, turning off all the lights. Say, brother, no vex. So I'm just turning off. I said, when did we start turning off our lights in Nigeria? He said, if you know what electricity is now, the bills they bring and everything. So it does appear something is happening in that regard. Let me give Gbenga about 6, 7 minutes to actually talk more about, to just summarize the point is made and, you know, long and short, what would you call the benefits? Of this subsidy removal, how can government build on it? What can be done, because we need to bring you back, Benga. We've not touched on some core areas, but it's been a very enriching session. You know, what should government be doing in terms of building up that sector, in terms of making sure that, providing access, for investment, because obviously for investment, transparency, level playing ground, and judicial, because when I look at the case you've talked about, Nadabo Energy, I'm going to go back and read that full case. And you did mention it. As at 2022, the case, the submission of the EFCC or so was done. How do you prosecute someone for 11 years who has that kind of money? And, if you tell investors about that, if something goes wrong in the business I'm having with Gbenga Araoyinbo, that the court will take about 10 years to adjudicate or 20 years. Why would an investor want to come? If your in-house investor, a Nigerian-based based investor, why would you want to put your resources in businesses like that when the legal framework, the political environment, the socio-economic factors and variables actually do not work in your favor? What do you say about this, Benga?
Yeah, a lot of reforms must begin to happen. So many reforms of every sector of Nigerian economy. Reform, 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 reform. So many things are wrong. Then we need to recalibrate. can do business. They can take their money back when they are ready. You know? And one thing that has again happened is this monetary policy of floating the exchange rate. Look at our aviation sector. The foreign airline, they could not take their money back home because of dollar scarcity and which corruption. Terrible things. But now, the rate has been floated. People can go in there, buy dollar at the market price, take their trap money back home, and this government, the way it's moving, and I can see a lot of good things that will happen. People are afraid to bring in money to the downstream sector because of this subsidy. But now it's no more there. Foreigner, we bring in money now that they will invest. There'll be competition. There'll be market competition. And at the end of the day, reasonable equilibrium price will be attained. Reasonable equilibrium price will be attained at that sector. And it's not going to be long. It's not going to be long. I tell you, we don't consume more than 7 to 8 million liters a day. That go to fuel, you go to West African country because we cannot consume it. We can't consume more than 7 to 8 million liters per day. That go to fuel, we go to foreign countries. We go to neighboring countries. That is the truth. And go to the cheaper, the marine cost will be out, freight will be out. So price within the next 3 months, price will make sense, and modal economy will come up. At the end of the day, there'll be competition. There'll be competition, there'll be investment, there'll be employment, and then, like I said, one more thing. Government should stop fixing electricity price. They should allow the market to determine it. Now it's going to be open up. Money people are going to bring their money to manage electricity, distribute and transmit it and distribute. Let market determine price. Government must stop regulating and fixing tariff for electricity. It discourages investors. And one of the reasons why investors are refused to come to the power sector because government is one that fixes tariff. Government should throw it away. Allow the market forces to determine. So that's another thing, another subsidy that you go. Embed is bankrupt. Embed cannot pay Gencos. Gencos, the generate, the transmission line collapse, the energy generated is lost. The one that gets distribution company, people are using free lines. They are not properly metered. They cannot account for the output. So now the private sector will come in, there'll be sanity, there'll be new business model that will drive the energy and the electricity sector. So the way things are going, in the next 1 year, we begin to see a lot of changes, and we are going to thank this government. The job well done.
Thank you so much, Gbenga. It's just been a very wonderful time. We've had loads. We've got some questions that have come to us on our YouTube feed, but obviously because of our time, we cannot ask that anymore. But Gbenga, we would want to bring you back within the next 1 month, subject to your availability. So we just want to. I'm going to call on PLIDE Lukman to actually do a vote of thanks on our behalf. To appreciate you for joining us. And of course, Nika Dixon, I also thank you so much for joining us. Wale, quite a lot of people, quite a lot of CEOs joined us today. And obviously, I think some had technical issues in some cases, and some had other meetings they had to also leave and attend. But it's just been a very, very rich one. And I believe I am I'm a firm believer that the dawn of a new Nigeria is actually, it is here. Something is changing in the air. And I believe, thank you so much. And I believe that all of us, for once, of course, we should and we must hold our government accountable. But of course, the patriotism, the belief, every one of us joining hands together, all hands on deck, working together, it's very important. But of course, once Nigerians begin to see the changes and the country begins to move forward, I believe even the Japa system itself, it will be reversed at some point. Of course, emigration and immigration, the natural orders of the global movement. It's a natural part of globalization. But of course, we cannot continue to lose our best heads, to other countries. But obviously, we believe that things are going to change. Before we do apply that, Lukman gives us the vote of thanks. I want to say Happy Father's Day to everyone, to all the men out there. Thank you so much for all you do for the children, for our youth, for our generation, next generation. May God continue to bless you and provide what you need to become. My mother will always say, it is not your biology that actually makes you a man, a father. It is actually the role you play, what you do in the house, in the life of those children. That's what actually makes you a father. So I pray that God will continue to bless us in that area. And of course, some mothers will would raise their hands there and say they play the dual role of father and mother to their children. For those of you who are single mothers who do everything for these children with totally absent fathers, of course, so if it's not you're doing, because some mothers prevent children access to their fathers, but there's so many genuine women out there, who are struggling, bearing the responsibilities of all these children alone. Shout out to you too on this day, because you also play the role of father and mother to those children. May God continue to bless each and every one of you. So let's call Pride and Lukman to give us the vote of thanks. Thank you so much. Happy Father's Day, everyone. Bye for now. Bye. Bye. Thank you so much, Gbenga. So, same here, bro. Thank you so much. And thank you once again, Nika. God bless you.